It was a normal September day in 1991. Two hikers were walking through the frozen mountains between Austria and Italy. What they found that day would shake everything we thought we knew about human history. Sticking out of the melting ice was a body. At first, they thought it was just another hiker who got lost. Maybe someone who died last winter. But they were so wrong. When scientists arrived to examine the body, they couldn't believe what they were seeing. This wasn't someone who died recently. The test showed something absolutely mind-blowing. This man had been frozen in that ice for over 5,300 years. Think about that for a second. He died before the Egyptian pyramids were even built, before Stonehenge existed. He was older than almost anything you've ever learned about in history class. And he was about to change everything. They named him Otzi after the Ötztal Alps where he was found. And here's what made everyone's jaw drop. He wasn't just bones. The ice had preserved him so perfectly that scientists could see his actual skin, his hair, even his eyes. He was about 45 years old when he died. Not very tall, only 5 feet 3 inches. But when they looked closer, they found something that made him even more fascinating. His body was covered in 61 tattoos. Now, can you imagine? Over 5,000 years ago, this man had tattoos all over his body. Lines and crosses on his back, his legs, his wrists. Why? What were they for? Scientists studied those tattoos for years, and what they discovered was heartbreaking. Otzi was in pain. A lot of pain. Those tattoos weren't for decoration. They were a type of ancient medicine, like acupuncture. He was trying to help his aching joints and terrible arthritis. This man suffered every single day of his life. But his pain tells us something incredible about human beings 5,300 years ago. They were smart. They were trying to heal themselves. They were just like us. When scientists examined everything Otzi had with him, they couldn't stop staring. This wasn't just a simple man from the Stone Age. His clothes were absolutely amazing. He wore leather pants made from goat skin, a coat stitched together from different sheep and goats, a hat made from bear fur, and his shoes? They were like ancient snow boots, lined with soft grass to keep his feet warm in the freezing mountains. Every single piece was handmade with incredible skill. Whoever made these knew exactly what they were doing. This was survival gear designed by experts. Then scientists did something that sounds impossible. They looked inside Otzi's stomach to see what he ate before he died. His last meal was red deer meat, ancient wheat, and something called ibex, a type of mountain goat. He had eaten just hours before his death. He had no idea it would be his final meal. But here's what made scientists realize something shocking. That wheat in his stomach? It was domesticated. That means Otzi's people weren't just hunters running around in the wilderness. They were farmers. They were growing crops. They had advanced civilization. Everything we thought about cavemen was wrong. Otzi was carrying an impressive toolkit, a copper axe, which was super valuable back then. I like owning a sports car today. A long bow that wasn't finished yet. A quiver with 14 arrows, but only 2 were ready to use. A knife with a blade made from flintstone. Containers made from tree bark to carry fire embers. Why would an experienced outdoorsman be carrying unfinished weapons? Was he in a hurry? Was he running from something? The mystery was just beginning, and the answer would be darker than anyone expected. For years, scientists wondered, how did Otzi die? Well, did he get lost in a storm? Did he freeze? Then in 2001, 10 years after finding him, doctors did a new type of X-ray scan, and they saw something that changed everything. There was an arrowhead buried deep in his left shoulder. Otzi didn't die from the cold. He didn't get lost. Someone shot him, and someone murdered him 5,300 years ago. He was running for his life in those mountains, wounded, bleeding, trying to survive, and he lost. Scientists studied that arrow wound for years. The story they believed went like this. The arrow hit a major blood vessel. Otzi started bleeding badly. Maybe he also got hit in the head with a rock or club. He collapsed on that mountain pass and died within minutes. It was a brutal murder, a prehistoric crime scene frozen in time. Everyone believed the story. It made sense. The evidence was right there. But what if everyone was completely wrong? In 2024, a team of scientists in Switzerland decided to look at Ötzi one more time using brand new technology. Super powerful CT scanners that could see details impossible to see before. And what they found shocked the entire scientific world. The arrow wound? It wasn't as deep as everyone thought. It didn't hit a major artery. The amount of blood he lost was tiny. Only about half a cup. That wouldn't kill someone quickly at all. And those head injuries? The new scan showed they probably happened when Otzi fell on the Rocky Mountain. Not from someone hitting him. So if the arrow didn't kill him, what did? The scientists came to a heartbreaking conclusion. Otzi froze to death. Picture this. He's high up in the mountains. Someone shoots him with an arrow. His shoulder is in terrible pain. He can't use his left arm. Maybe he trips and falls, hitting his head on the rocks. He's dizzy, confused. The weather's getting worse. He tries to find shelter, but he can't. His body temperature starts dropping. He gets more and more tired. His thinking gets fuzzy. He knows he's dying, and there's nothing he can do. Hypothermia is a slow, cruel death. It took hours, and maybe he was still conscious, lying there in the freezing cold, knowing he would never see his family again. These were Ötzi's last moments on Earth. Alone. Freezing. In pain. But his death wasn't for nothing. Because that freezing cold that killed him also preserved him perfectly for over 5,000 years. He became a gift to the future. A time capsule that would teach us things we never knew about our own history. And the most incredible discovery was still waiting to be found. In 2025, scientists made an announcement that shocked everyone who studies human evolution. For decades, everyone believed that modern humans, people like you and me, all evolved to have slim, lightweight bodies. That was supposed to be what made us special, what made us different from our more muscular ancestors like Neanderthals. Every textbook said so. Every museum displayed it. Everyone was certain this was true. But when scientists used new 3D technology to reconstruct Ötzi's ribcage, they discovered something that proved everyone wrong. Ötzi's ribcage was huge, like seriously big. Way bigger and more barrel-shaped than most modern people today. This didn't make sense. According to everything scientists believed, Ötzi should have had a slim, lightweight chest. But he didn't. His body looked more like our ancient muscular ancestors. You'd ask, how could this be possible? Yet was Ötzi some kind of weird exception? A genetic mistake? No. Otzi was about to prove that everything we learned about human evolution was incomplete. Scientists started comparing Otzi's ribcage to other ancient humans from all over the world. And what they found was absolutely stunning. A 38,000-year-old person from Egypt? Small, narrow ribcage. Perfect for staying cool in the hot desert. A 30,000-year-old person from the Czech Republic? Massive ribcage almost as big as a Neanderthal. Built for surviving in freezing cold during the Ice Age. A 23,000-year-old person from Israel? Medium-sized, right in between. Every single ancient human had a different body shape depending on where they lived. This means that humans never had just one correct body type. We weren't all supposed to look the same. Our bodies adapted to where we lived. Hot climates, smaller, slimmer bodies to cool down easier. Cold climates, bigger barrel-shaped bodies to keep warm. Mountains with thin air, larger lungs to breathe better. Otzi's body was perfectly designed for his life in the Alps. He traveled between valleys and high mountains with the seasons. In summer, he'd go way up above 10,000 feet to hunt and herd animals. In winter, he'd come back down where it was warmer. His huge ribcage gave him bigger lungs so he could breathe in the thin mountain air. It helped him stay warm during freezing nights. Think about what this means for a second. For over 100 years, scientists told us that modern humans all evolved to look basically the same. That there was one right human body type, and everyone who looked different was somehow more primitive. But Otzi proved that was never true. Humans come in all shapes and sizes. Not because some of us are less evolved, but because our bodies adapted to the incredible variety of places we've lived. From frozen tundras to burning deserts. From sea level to mountain peaks. We're not all supposed to look the same. We never were. This is why Otzi's discovery just rewrote human history. He showed us that human diversity isn't an accident. It's not people failing to evolve the right way. It's humans being absolutely incredible at adapting to every possible environment on Earth. Some of us have ancestors from cold places, so we might have bigger, stockier builds. Some of us have ancestors from hot places, so we might be taller and slimmer. Some of us are in between. And all of it is perfect. All of it is exactly right. Otzi never knew that his frozen body would teach us this lesson. He died alone on that mountain, probably thinking about his family, wondering if anyone would find him. He couldn't have known that 5,300 years later, millions of people would learn his story. That scientists would spend decades studying every inch of his body with respect and wonder. That he would help us understand ourselves better. His death was tragic. His life was hard, full of pain and danger and constant struggle. But his story? His story became a gift that keeps on giving. Scientists are still studying Otzi today. Every few years, new technology lets us see something we couldn't see before. Recently, they analyzed his DNA and found his closest living relatives. People living today who share his ancient ancestors. They discovered he was lactose intolerant and couldn't drink milk. They found he had a genetic risk for heart disease. They even figured out what his voice probably sounded like. We know more about Otzi than we know about people who lived just 200 years ago. And we're still learning more every single year. The story of Otzi teaches us something important about being human. We spend so much time looking at our differences. Different body types, different skin colors, different features. And sometimes people use those differences to say some people are better or more evolved than others. But Otzi proves that's garbage. Every human body type exists for a reason. Every variation is an adaptation. Every difference is a success story of humans surviving in impossible conditions for thousands of years. 5,300 years ago, Otzi climbed those mountains with his copper axe and his unfinished arrows. He wore his carefully made leather clothes and his grass-lined shoes. He ate his meal of deer meat and ancient wheat. He lived in a world without electricity, without modern medicine, without any of the things we think we need to survive. And yet his people thrived. They made art. They made tools. They performed medicine. They built communities. They loved their families and buried their dead and looked up at the same stars we see today. Otzi's body has been examined by hundreds of scientists. His story has been told in documentaries, museums, books, and now this video. But sometimes I wonder, if Otzi could see us now, looking at him with such curiosity and respect, what would he think? Would he be proud that his story lived on? Would he be amazed by our technology? Or would he just want us to know that he was a person just like us, trying his best to survive in a difficult world? The greatest lesson from Otzi isn't about rib cages or arrows or ancient technology. It's this. Human beings have always been remarkable. 5,300 years ago or today, we're all doing the same thing. Trying to survive. Trying to take care of our families. Dealing with pain and hardship. Creating beautiful things. Making mistakes. Learning. Adapting. Otzi reminds us that the people who came before us weren't primitive or simple. They were us, just born in a different time. As scientists continue studying Otzi, who knows what else we'll discover? What other secrets is he still keeping? What other assumptions will he prove wrong? One thing is certain, This 5,300-year-old man isn't done teaching us yet. If this story fascinated you, hit that like button and subscribe, because history is full of incredible stories like this. Stories that challenge what we think we know. Stories that connect us to people who lived thousands of years ago. Leave a comment and tell me, what surprised you most about Otzi's story? Thanks for watching, and remember, you're part of an incredible human story that goes back thousands of years. Stay curious. Stay amazed.